do start on time. It looks like the recording is ready to go. So first and foremost, we want to welcome you all to part one of our series, Navigating Your Data Analytics Career Journey. My name is Alyssa Laskowski, and I work on the SNHU Career Services team. And so my role is to partner with academic faculty and staff to host webinars like this one this evening. So I'd like to take a moment to allow my co-host, Joe, to come on camera and say hello and introduce himself as well.
Hi, everyone. Joe Timmons here, Associate Dean at SNHU. I am responsible for the undergraduate data analytics programs here. I have been with SNH for nearly 10 years, but I welcome all of you who are just starting your academic journey, as well as those that are retasking full swing in your degree. This is a great field to be in. That said, and did you say anything about the recording yet, Alyssa?
Yep. So yeah, I was just going to jump into kind of all the housekeeping items. So thanks, Joe, for that. So for those in the audience as well, or our attendees, please feel free to continue to introduce yourselves via the chat box. You can say hello. I see a few people have been adding their LinkedIn profiles as well. We highly encourage you to do that. No pressure otherwise. It's a great opportunity to connect with your peers here. So I want to just go over some general housekeeping rules. So again, all attendees' microphones as well as cameras have been muted and turned off. So we do encourage you to continue to use the chat box feature during the course of the webinar series. So with that, let's get started. So your experience here at SNHU is very important to us. It is our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there are aspects of this presentation's design or delivery that presents barriers to accessibility, please notify the appropriate accessibility centers. For online students, you can email oac@snhu.edu or call 866-305-9430. Any campus students, you can email cac@snhu.edu or call 603-644-3118. If you're an SNHU staff member, please email hr@snhu.edu. So quickly, our agenda today starts with introducing you to SNHU's Career Services team and our new virtual career center, Career 360. Next, Joe will share some important undergrad academic updates for the data analytics program. And afterwards, we will dive into 5 steps to explore careers in the data analytics field, and then we'll wrap it up with some takeaways as well as some open Q&A. We also will have the opportunity to check in with all of you during the webinar and give you some space to reflect and engage with us via the chat box. So as I said, just a simple reminder, all attendees, your microphones have been muted and your cameras have been turned off. This webinar is being recorded, so students are not required to take any notes, but of course you are welcome to do so. All attendees will receive a follow-up email with all of the links to the resources discussed today, as well as a link to this recording. So in order to get the emailed resources, we just ask that everyone here make sure they officially registered for this webinar if you haven't already. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the registration link once again here into the chat box, just in case if you do need it to make sure you're absolutely included to get those emails. So we will have time again at the end for Q&A at the end of this presentation. So please wait to add your questions into the chat box until the end, and we will address them aloud for you, and we'll get to those at the end of the presentation. So let's have Joe kick us off with a quick check-in.
Thank you, Alyssa. So question for all of you that are out there. What drew you to the field of data analytics? I'd love to hear as brief as you can, but if it's a long one, go for it. We love to hear. So in chat, if you wouldn't mind putting that out, just to give your input of where you're coming from. Privacy. Very nice, Lori.
Yep, see some remote
More
opportunities.
data analysts in here. I like it.
Yep.
Always great to add to the conversation in classes.
Yep. Loving data, loving numbers, loving math. That's great.
Stats. I hope you like stats. Because really, when it comes down to it, AI is just statistics.
Playing with data. They love solving problems, finding solutions. I like that.
Science majors. I like it. Thanks, William.
Very cool. I see a lot of passion already coming in through the chat box. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think showing up here is step one, right? Showing you're here to play.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all for sharing. That's great. Keep it coming as we move along here. Thanks, Joe. All right. So, if you haven't yet heard of our SNHU Career Services team, here's a really brief introduction. So, SNHU offers free career advising services for all SNHU online students and alumni free for life. So, students can reach out via email or call our SNHU career team directly anytime during your academic program. Our team of career advisors are located nationwide, and we have over 70 plus professional advisors here on the team. And so SNHU Career Advisors can provide individualized virtual support to students geared towards career goal setting, professional resume and cover letter, even portfolio assistance, interview preparation, job and internship search strategies, salary negotiation tactics, and even personal social media branding like your LinkedIn profile. We also work with you if you're interested in pursuing an internship, and we host career events that online students can attend anytime throughout the academic year. So don't wait to reach out. We are here to support you in your career journey, no matter where you may be starting from. And so in June of 2024, we launched Career 360. So now I'd like to play a quick introduction video for all of you, and hopefully the sound works, but if not, we will pivot. But here we go. Thanks, Joe.
Breaking news! We've launched our new virtual career services site for SNHU online students and alumni called Career 360. Career 360 is your new central resource hub for all SNHU career services offerings. With access to customized job and internship postings, a specialized career event schedule, and a comprehensive collection of industry focused resources provided by our SNHU career services professionals, Career 360 offers a plethora of information to support you throughout every stage of your professional journey.
SNHU students and alumni can view and apply to tailored job and internship recommendations that align with your career goals. You can easily find relevant career resources based on your major and specific industries. You can view all upcoming career events and learn how to create an eye-catching resume. You can watch insightful career videos and access a wealth of interview tips to help you ace your next interview. Through Career 360, you can browse focused career communities in the social sciences, business, STEM, liberal arts, education, and healthcare industries. In each community, you can explore specific career resources and opportunities related to your major and career area of interest.
Interested in getting timely career services email updates? We got you covered. Click the Sign Up for Career content on the homepage and set your email alert preferences. We are confident that Career 360 will provide you with the necessary tools and resources to take your career to new heights. Whether you are a seasoned professional or just starting out, our platform is designed to cater to your unique needs. If you are a current online student or an alum, Career 360 empowers you to explore and navigate your own career development journey and achieve success. Students can access Career 360 directly through the Career Services website on MySNU. Bookmark our website at career360.snhu.edu.
So very exciting resource. I'm going to actually add the link directly to it here in the chat box so you all can take a look at that yourselves before we move on to the next slide here. But just want to quickly walk you all through some really unique features. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. So on the screen here is just a short and quick demo video of how you can use Career 360 to explore. So you can start by clicking on Explore Industries and click on the tab that says STEM. So you can browse all the available resources on this larger STEM career community page that includes STEM career resources, LinkedIn learning courses. There's also some downloadable Vault career guides, which are very cool. We also have an area that features STEM jobs as well as internships. And you can even browse employer job simulations to gain hands-on experience. And you can even watch STEM-related career videos. And you can explore a plethora of more career information. You also have the option to narrow your career search by clicking Choose Your Major to select Data Analytics. So this community page has specific career information related to the field of data analytics. You can research entry level, mid-level, and even senior level resources depending on where you are in your career journey. And similar to the STEM page, you can browse career resources, LinkedIn Learning, bulk guides, featured jobs and internships, opportunities to gain experience, as well as a plethora of career videos. As a quick example, once this webinar is recorded, it will be posted right here on the Career 360 Data Analytics community page. And believe it or not, but the Career 360 has even more to offer. So you can start by clicking on the Build Career Skills menu, and you can get help with your resume and cover letter. You can check out how to earn relevant certifications, view networking tips, learn how to negotiate any job or internship offer. You can find out how to prep for more technical interviews. You can even complete a self-assessment to identify what career path is best for you. You can explore graduate school options. You can view all SNHU internship resources and tips and advice. And lastly, you can browse all of our job searching advice and resources. And if you need more one-on-one help, you can find out how to connect with our dedicated team of career advisors in the About Us section. And so for now, I will turn it over to Joe for academic updates.
Thank you, Alyssa. So new in the program are a couple things that are coming and a couple things that are actually going. So if you're looking in terms of certificates, we don't necessarily give direct certificates, but the information that's within those programs or in those courses do give you the information and gear you toward taking the tests themselves. The tests themselves would be taken on your own, but there are 3 to note from 0, actually. We recently added a Data Plus elective for IT 476. So keep an elective spare. This is a great elective to start out with. If you've heard of Network Plus, A Plus, that's the kind of mindset you're going to go. You're going to learn all about data. So if you take DAT 205, I would strongly recommend you to take Data Plus afterwards if you can. Seats are limited. There's also the Certified Ethical Emerging Technologies, or the CET, a very challenging exam. Yeah, the chat box isn't recorded, Daniel. I just picked up on that. But we will be announcing the questions we bring up when you do have a question. So, that's Alyssa. So, Alyssa, sorry. I'm reading wrong. So, continuing on as I get sidetracked, squirrel. We also have a third one in DAT 300 Power BI. And none of these courses require a prerequisite. So, if you're not in the data analytics program, you can still take them. They are available to all students. So in there, we've kind of revamped our intro course to give you an idea of what R and Python are. So for you data analysts, it's not going to be a hard runway for you. The DAT 223 is we've moved from our internal VDI to an external use certified environment, and we're including Python. You're going to see a lot of our courses moving toward Python, SQL, NoSQL, and not a lot else. Well, Power BI as well. We are in the DAT 250, that's where the CET certification's at. And the Power BI, again, you can get a Power BI certification with the material that's included in you certified. Now, that's the good. The bad is if you are an Excel or PowerPoint person, the time is limited using those programs. Most of our courses are going to move away from them. If you come from a job perspective, you'll find that if you put PowerPoint on your resume, doesn't necessarily open doors for you. So that we are finding other ways to work with you. So that's the holistic of what we have now. There are more to come, but for now, that's what's been introduced. That's in and running in courses now. And take it away, Alyssa.
Thanks, Joe. We're going to do a quick check-in now. So Joe, if you want to take this one again, it's all you.
Oh, sure. So given that, and you are coming into this program, and some of you obviously are data analytics students already, what resources have you been using that are helping you or that you think will help you for your current program? Love to see it in chat. I promise there's an end goal to this question. Forge? Okay. Oh, that's a good one. Very good, Lori.
Tutoring.
Excellent, Bill. Yeah.
Love that.
Alex, yeah. Oh, perfect. There.
YouTube.
Yeah.
LinkedIn Learning.
Yep. Coursera. Yeah. Kaggle. Perfect.
Love seeing lots of the LinkedIn Learnings here. The tutoring is great. Data camp. Yep.
Oh, excellent, Ryan. Excellent. Very good job. Yeah, I can't stress enough the Power BI, and that's down the road, but we're not putting in software lightly. There's a definite reason for it.
See some handshake. That's awesome. Love seeing that. YouTube, Kaggle, tutoring. Lots of courses. Code Academy.
Now I'd be dating
Awesome.
myself, but I don't see any
Coursera.
correspondence courses. I don't understand why. Stack Overflow. Yeah, good questions on that. Excellent.
Great. Thank you all for sharing. Appreciate it. All right. And so now we will take some time to review some 5 steps that can help you prepare for your future career while you're in college. So to begin the process of exploring data analyst career paths, it's important that you do take some time to think about what's trending in the field and really the wider context in which you'll be working. So as individuals, we're generating masses of data all the time. Data that is interesting for businesses and organizations as it tells them something about how we behave in relation to their products or their services. So, the more we rely on digital devices and services, the more data we generate. And in turn, the more important it does become for companies to make sense of this data. So, to give you an idea of just how big the big data market is, it's estimated by that 2025 it'll be worth $229.4 billion. So, what does that mean for you? Well, it means the data market is growing exponentially, and so is the need for data analysts. And enter the generative AI explosion of last year as large language models led by OpenAI's ChatGPT, promise to revolutionize things. Not just the tech industry itself, but the possible applications of these spread far and wide, and demand grew immediately for professionals who were equipped to understand them. So employers are saying that familiarity with AI is helpful and needed. Now, you don't necessarily need to be an expert in it yet, as we're still kind of uncovering it, but you must be familiar with it as a data analyst professional. And so the debate around AI, as we all probably know, is quite hot right now. The rise of AI for some seems like a threat, but for data analysts, it could also be an opportunity to evolve. Remember, the human touch is irreplaceable when it comes to asking the right questions, interpreting the data with context, and communicating insights for strong business impact. And lastly, it's impossible to talk about the data industry in 2024 without considering the previous few years. The pandemic has changed many aspects of how we live and work, and the data industry is no exception. As a data analyst in 2024, you should anticipate working remotely at least some of the time, if not on a full time basis, as again, the pandemic has changed a lot of that environment for us. If you're learning data analytics through an online program, like most of you are, you're already at an advantage when it comes to showing employers that you can work autonomously and remotely. So, to answer the big question, data analysts are very much in demand in 2024 and will continue to be for the foreseeable future. So, great news for anyone who is considering a career in this field.
And if I may, Alyssa,
Absolutely.
one of the things about the remote work, which is a double-edged sword, which is when you're working remote, we've all done it. We've worked on our classes remote. There's a disconnect, and if you go to companies and you go to any office, the interactions you have.
Joe, you're muted.
Just get muted. Sorry. Um, you want to make sure that you continue to interact when you're in those independent environments as if you were at a job, and not to forget that while it's much easier to turn off your video, and here you're forced to, is being able to network with other people at your office is that much harder to do. So it's great to be at home, but I can tell you right now, if you say I'm just going to do my job and that's it, you're missing out on all the connections you have to do in the interpersonal relationships.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. So let's move on to step 2. So, if you're looking to carve out a career in the data analytics field, it's important to know what the work of a data analyst entails. So, in simple terms, data analytics is the process of analyzing raw data in order to draw out meaningful, actionable insights. So, these insights are then used to help businesses make smart decisions. So, data analysts work with a range of business intelligence and analytics tools. They are typically expected to be proficient in software like Excel, and in some cases, programming language and softwares like SQL, R, Python, Oracle, and Tableau. So, to work as a data analyst, it's important that you're comfortable using such tools and languages to carry out data mining, statistical analysis, database management, and reporting. In most cases, a data analyst may answer queries from across the company, collecting and analyzing data that is specific to a team or department. So, the results of their work are often presented as a series of charts or graphs or other visual aids. So, with a strong understanding of the industry they're working in, data analysts are the gatekeepers of data within their organizations. And so, another crucial step in mapping out your career journey is truly understanding what it is that you want to do in the field of data analytics. If any of these responsibilities sit high on your priority list, you may want to refine your career search around them. So, for example, start to look for jobs or internships that specialize in data mining or database management and see what that career path entails and what skills or maybe even experience might be required to get that type of role. So, taking some time to do some of that internal reflection about your ideal data analyst career path is super important. And there are definitely some great free tools out there, career assessments, and even quizzes that could help you get started. So, continuing with step two, we wanted to take some time to outline some of the key hard and soft skills that employers are looking for when hiring data analysts. Now, this is just a shortened list, and so not all of these school skills and tools are super essential for every single data analyst role, but we have included those that are frequently coming up in most real job descriptions. So, some of those soft skills include communication, collaboration, and presentation skills, problem solving or even critical thinking skills, researching, attention to detail, an analytical mindset, and good organization skills. And now we will preference in very recent conversations, employers have directly shared with us that some of the two most important soft skills that a data analyst needs to have would be critical thinking and presentation skills. So, for example, can you present technical data to a non technical audience? Can you tell the data story in a compact and detailed way, keeping your audience in mind? This is key for employers that you are able to demonstrate that you have that specific skill set. Now, some of the technical skills include again knowledge of programming languages like SQL, Oracle, and Python, proficiency in business intelligence and analytical software, the ability to mine, analyze, model, and interpret data, the ability to work with large, complex data sets, a solid understanding of data profiling, and expertise in data visualization. So, also in keeping in this theme, we want to think about what skills do you currently have, or what skills do you think that you need to improve upon? So, most students graduating have those technical skills, but the question might be, what are you maybe lacking? And so, if you're thinking a little bit about that, we suggest working with maybe your academic advisors or your faculty, your deans, like Joe here, to explore SNHU courses or maybe even electives that could help you educate you more in these skill areas. You could also consider browsing and completing LinkedIn Learning data analytics courses, which are free for all current online SNHU students. And you can even consider external options like taking online boot camps, online certifications, or even joining virtual hackathons where you can network and level up your skills. And so for now, I will turn it over to Joe for a quick check-in.
So I'm going to make it very clear, no hackathons on SNHU grounds, please. Let's keep that out of the possibilities. So let's do another check-in here. These questions do have an outcome. Some are very obvious, but we're talking about skills. And we just talked about some that they're looking for, but what do you feel apply to a data analyst career? Not the tools, the skills. And those that are data analysts, obviously love to preface that, say, I do as a data analyst, so we know that's what you do as you're already giving that kind of answer. We love to hear that kind of input. So the skills you think. Software development. Interesting you should say that. So generally speaking, from companies that I've heard from, have good communication skills. When it comes to, there's that question that bumped right up there. Great storytelling. That's obviously, yep, that's a good one. Very good one. They definitely look for storytelling. I think when it comes to technical skills, the under 30 crowd has a leg up on the younger crowd compared to the older crowd of people that are career changing, have a leg up when it comes to technical skills. Whereas there's something missed, from what I understand, in some cases about being able to connect with people because they're so technically savvy. There's something forgotten. So if you're somebody who falls into the tech savvy person, focus on other skills, project management, business, communication. And if you need those skills, get them so that you can kind of go toe to toe. Yeah, there we go. Storytelling. Yeah.
Yep. A lot of
Right
presentation, a
there.
lot of communication skills. That's great.
Yeah, and you'll see Excel. And again, I'm not saying that Excel isn't something that employers aren't looking for, but it's nebulous. And if you get a lot of government facilities, you'll see that they typically military, they'll use Excel still. Certain companies will still continue to do so. So it's not that it isn't useful. It's just harder to, it's very easy for everybody to use in Excel. So I wouldn't say stay away from it. If you're looking to go into government, get your macro skills up, learn to work in Excel. They're still using it. Yep. Yeah. Some healthcare, definitely.
Too. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you all for sharing and engaging in the chat. Really appreciate it. So we're going to keep it going here. So we're going to move on to step 3, researching career paths and job titles. So again, step 3, all about those career paths and jobs that exist in data analytics and doing your research. So if you're thinking about becoming a data analyst, it's also important to understand how the role differs from other job titles in the field. So with data recently becoming a more viable commodity, those who know how to handle, interpret, and communicate patterns in data are more in demand than ever before. So almost all companies are collecting data on their customers and correctly knowing how to interpret such data is becoming of increasing importance. So this is where data analysts and data scientists come in. So gaining an appreciation for what makes the roles different is one of the first steps to understanding if a specific career path is right for you. So as we've covered, a data analyst interprets data and identifies patterns using statistical techniques. The career path of data analysts typically starts with maybe more of an analyst 1 type position and then progresses to an analyst 2, maybe even senior analyst, and so on. So data scientists, however, take a more science-based approach to data handling. So the work of a data scientist incorporates mathematical know-how, computer skills, and business acumen. So a data scientist will work deeper within the data using data mining and machine learning to identify patterns. They'll devise experiments and then produce models and tests to prove or disprove their findings. So based on their findings, they'll offer solutions as to how a company should act going forward. So data scientists are not to be confused with data engineers. So again, those are 2 distinct roles as well, so they're worth researching. So to put it more simply, data analysts act as interpreters for those in charge of making business decisions, and they do the data storytelling. Data science works involves diving deep into the data, creating tools and experiments to extract rich and nuanced information. So really, data scientists, they know those algorithms in and out. So again, while you're thinking about these career paths, it's important to know and understand the distinctions. So continuing in step 3, many data analyst professionals may look to start their careers in related fields, often to what we call or refer to them as feeder roles. So these roles provide valuable experience and skills that can be directly applied to a career in data analytics or data science. So feeder roles are jobs that are sometimes outside of the data analyst sector that can serve as a pathway into the field. So these positions cultivate key skills and knowledge that are transferable to a data analytics or data science career. So, for example, some common feeder roles include financial analysts, security analysts, and even help desk analysts. There are, of course, jobs to explore both at the entry level and at the mid level, depending on your education, your experience, and your skills. Depending on the industry or organization you are interested in, the job duties may change. So, once again, it's worth spending some time exploring those ideal organizations and researching what someone within a specific job does that may sound compelling to you. And lastly, one of the tools I do want to highlight here is ONET. So ONET is one of the top career searching sites to research job titles and potential career paths. So you can use it to search for your desired job title in the search box, and you can view occupation-specific tasks, job responsibilities, even required skill sets, some helpful job training, and much more. So I'm going to quickly add the link to ONET here into the chat box as well, so feel free to browse that as we go along. And finally, with completing step 3, you may want to explore certificates or certifications when you're researching your desired career paths. And though they sound similar, certificates and certifications are not the same. So whether you're just getting started or maybe you're already established in your career, obtaining a certification or certificate in data analytics can help you reach your unique professional goals. As a result, many aspiring or established professionals in the field of data analytics often wonder which certification or which certificate to choose to achieve their career objectives. Should you get a certificate or a certification? Which ones are the best for your current skill set and work experience? What's the difference? So, simply put, a certificate is evidence of education credential that's earned from a course or a program, while a certification is evidence of passing an exam or meeting industry standards. Certifications, they typically require much more time to complete, as well as a final exam to put what you've learned to the test, and some also may require a fee. You may pursue a certificate if you want to build specific skills and continue learning a specific subject or maybe a specific field. So again, both can add value to your career search in different ways. So it is important to note the differences and do your research based on maybe the job or the career that you want to pursue. Again, certificates can add in-demand skills to your resume, but maybe a certificate alone might not be enough to start working in a specific industry or in a specific job. And even for some data analyst professionals, a certification could even be required in order for you to even apply for a specific job. So again, either way you go, getting a certificate or getting a certification in addition to your college degree in the field of data analytics is definitely a powerful way to validate your skills and your knowledge in the eyes of employers. And I promise you, we will explore this area and this topic specifically in part 2 of this series. So hang tight. We will get to that more in depth in part 2. So moving on to step 4, it's really the golden rule for every industry. Step 4 is establishing a good network and making connections. It is absolutely essential if you want to get your foot in the door. And while many of us dread the idea of networking, I get it, so do I, it doesn't have to be as uncomfortable as it might sound. In fact, there are many different types of networking opportunities, ranging from just a friendly message on LinkedIn to a full-on conference circuit. So as an aspiring data analyst, it's important to start connecting with like-minded people as early as possible. Not only does a good network open up potential doors in terms of career prospects, it's also an excellent source of mentorship and support as you find your feet in a brand new field or industry. So where do you start? So here are some excellent ways to network both online and even in person. So consider LinkedIn. Many of you started already sharing your LinkedIn profiles, and that is a great start. But you can also use LinkedIn to join some data analytics groups, or again, simply use it as a way to connect with other analysts in and around your local area. You can use Meetup. So Meetup offers loads of tech and data meetups that are all over the world, ranging from free to informal to even more professional events. And sometimes those events are both virtual and in person. And you can look up and research conferences to attend as well. You can also rely on your SNHU student community. So many data analytics courses will offer you ways to get in touch with the wider student community through maybe Slack or Discord channels. And we even have a dedicated SNHU Connect community that's for students and alumni that you can definitely explore. So this is a great way to lend and receive peer-to-peer support and potentially make those important connections. And lastly, of course, we encourage you to attend additional SNU career networking and career events to meet with industry professionals in the field and, of course, connect with fellow SNHU students and alumni. And so the fifth and final steps towards becoming a data analyst is to refine your portfolio and application documents to prepare for the job market. Your portfolio is arguably the most important asset you'll have when it comes to applying for opportunities. It showcases how you work and demonstrates to employers that you've not only mastered the right practical skills, but that you know how to apply them in the real world. In simplest terms, a data analyst portfolio is a website which tells employers a little bit about you and links out to all the projects that you've worked on. And so your current data analytics courses will have you working on practical projects in your classes. So these are super, super important to save. I repeat, make sure you save the projects that you work on in your classes. And so the very first step really in building your portfolio is deciding where to host it. We recommend, and honestly, employers have recently told us this and highly recommend using GitHub for your portfolio. And so when it comes to your resume, SNU students have access to Skills First, which is our free resume and cover letter building tool where you can create a brand new resume or tweak your current one using some of the available templates on Skills First. And so a data analyst portfolio is an essential tool when it comes to starting or even advancing your career as a data analyst. Your portfolio should demonstrate your ability to gather and clean data, to run different types of analysis, to visualize your findings, and to communicate what these findings mean and why they are important. And at the same time, your application documents and portfolio complement one another, and they tell your professional story when you're applying for these opportunities. And so for now, I will turn it over to Joe for a quick check-in.
Thank you, Alyssa. And just to reiterate what you said about the having the artifacts GitHub, get a GitHub account right away. That is where you need to start. You can lose interviews for not even having a GitHub page. I know companies that won't even interview if you aren't even aware of it. So get used to it. It's always a struggle at first, but everything is, right? I think someone had mentioned Ama, if I'm pronouncing that correct, Ama Malik, had mentioned that, it is intimidating. It is very scary to start something new. It seems so overwhelming. So start with something simple. I think that's the best way to go. So that said, you've seen the options that we've given. You guys have given some great ones yourself. Which one area, just one, are you most excited to pursue right now? Not 2 years from now, right now. Good start right there. Get that GitHub, Jasmine.
Yep, see a lot of portfolio building, a lot of GitHubs, checking out Skills First, pursuing data scientist roles. That's exciting.
That's the way to go, right? Hey, it's actually very interesting. In many companies, the data analysts became the data scientists because they had nobody else to fill that role. So it's sometimes blended, but it has become much. I draw the comparison to what cybersecurity was at early on in the early stages we had here, where IT added cybersecurity and then cybersecurity became its own thing, and it became such a hot field to be in. That's where data analyst or data analytics is right now. It is pretty intense. So, but you saw the change in it where people were not sure. At back then, your network admin suddenly became your cybersecurity person, but things have become much more distinct in the cybersecurity role. Data analytics is becoming that way as well. So it's gonna be curious to see where it goes. But everybody wants in. Just don't pen test SNHU. That's all I'm asking you, Jose.
Right.
Please don't.
I saw
pen
that
test
one too.
us. Don't put
Pen
that in there.
testing, YouTube,
This is on
GitHub.
recording. Do not pen test SNHU.
Thank you, Trina, for the feedback on skills first. Broke it down to sections, made it really helpful, had lots of examples and templates. Absolutely, it's a wonderful tool to utilize to really take some of the guesswork out of it. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And I love that everyone still keeps putting their LinkedIn's in there, right? We just talked about the importance of networking and making those connections. Y'all are here and now doing basically two of those things, right? You're attending an event and you're utilizing your. Very exciting. Love to see that flurry of activity continue to happen. All right, so some of you might just literally be asking yourselves this right now. What is next for me? What can I do? What should I be doing or thinking about? And so we have covered a lot in our short time together this evening. So let's talk about some of the big highlights. And again, what are some of those actionable steps for you now before we meet again for part 2? So think about where you are right now in your career journey. Are you just starting out? Do you already have several years of experience? Are you shifting careers entirely? Or are you looking to move up in your current role at your current company? And so, no matter where you may be starting from, you can start taking proactive steps now to get you closer to your unique career goals. So here on the screen are some outlined next steps for you to consider. Again, you do not have to do all of them or you have to do any of them in any order. Just pick one or two to get started, like crafting your GitHub portfolio, and then maybe start to update your resume with skills first. Or maybe explore Career 360 first, start there, and then reach out to our career advising team for more one-on-one dedicated help with your specific career situation. Or research LinkedIn groups to join to start that networking process. So again, it's all about starting with action plans that again fit your unique needs now. And as they say, Rome was not built in a day. This is a reminder that it takes time and it takes patience to create something great, and it takes time to master a skill, especially like career searching. It's easy to overestimate the importance of the big picture while underestimating the importance of the small steps. And so all of you have made great progress today simply by being here as you continue along your unique career journey. So, with that, we have reached the end of part 1 of our series. We do want to thank you all so much. At this point in time, we've got about a little shy of 15 minutes. This is your time. So what we'd like to do is open up the floor for some Q&A. So please feel free to type your questions into the chat box for Joe and I to read them aloud and answer them aloud for you. We will do our best. There is a flurry of questions coming in, so we will do our best to get to all of them. If we don't get to your question, again, please feel free to join us for part 2. We'll have more time to get into some of those questions. As you can see, some of the details of when part 2 is taking place are here on the screen on September 24th at 6 p.m. and you'll get more information about that. So with that being said, let's have those questions start coming through. We'll keep an eye on them and we will read them aloud and do our best to navigate them. First question I see from Jacob is, what type of math do you use most as a data analyst? So Joe, I'm going to try and keep tabs of the questions as they come in.
You have to look at data analytics as statistics. Math you're going to use, but it all depends on kind of where you're going. So at its base, you're going to use statistics. You're going to be able to learn about some hypothesis testing, regression analysis. You'll do some ETL, which is extract, transform, load, gap analysis, situation analysis. You're going to be doing for this program, you're going to be doing pre-calc and calculus, quantitative and qualitative models. But it's a base. Math is the base of anything in data analytics. It's anything in AI. It's anything in data science. If you do not like to do math and statistics, it's part of what you're going to be doing as a data analyst. Getting ready for Keith puts, I'm getting ready for Math 303 next week. Yeah, and you know what? Just put in the time. If you don't like math, if you're taking 2 courses a term, go down to 1. It is so worth it. But it's part of what you have to learn, the building blocks. So there's a very, it's not just one, but if you were to ask me, I would say statistics. That would be the biggest one. So yeah, hopefully you guys are in this. I see Christine saying it. Hope you guys get the same class. Say hello to each other. I think one of the hardest things you can do, and I hope our school can get to that point where you have that connection with other students, because sometimes it feels like you're kind of off in Texas, or I think someone said they were in UK. It's really kind of difficult to make those connections. But Alyssa, pick another question. I'm gonna go off of my tangents here.
No problem. So we've got a few, I think, kind of in this line, but best certifications for data analytics. I'll let you probably take this one, Joe. I think we're gonna have the same answer on this one.
So it's kind of interesting to look at this. One of the things that companies want is you want the best certification. And the question is what direction are you going in? I think it's always best to start with something that's kind of easy to get to, right? And I think like a Data Plus certificate is a great start, right? It builds a block. And from there, you can go in a whole host of other directions. You can go to, I'm just trying to think of some good ones here. You could do the Certified Analytics Professional. You could go Google, IBM. Yeah, Data Plus is good. It is a standard. It's just like A plus and N plus. Coursera offers a few that you can do monthly and go to that, but don't overdo it. I think if you're going to do some lower level, like Data Plus entry kind of level, go for the good one after that and put the time and effort in it. Because if you're really looking for those jobs, they're not looking for, having a whole bunch of certifications is great. Your focus should be more on the projects and what you're doing versus anything else. So certifications, get a few and then go from there. I think there's other ones. Yeah, I think everybody's kind of named a whole bunch. There's just a lot of different directions, but Data Plus is probably the best start. That kind of gets you your baseline.
Yeah, and I'm echoing all of that too, as far as, we kind of highlighted here in the series, and we'll definitely do a deeper dive in series 2, is doing some of that intentional research about the types of certifications for your typical roles. Again, depending on maybe the industry or where you're wanting to look into, they might require or ask you to have some sort of certification, maybe in finance or things like that. So it is definitely worth doing that research in advance. But to Joe's point too, if there are more of those general, Data Plus is definitely a good one to consider. Often one that employers might be looking for as well. But again, it's who of you to make sure you're doing that research in advance to explore what certifications are going to best help align you towards getting you closer to your career goals. So a few more questions coming through. Sorry, Joe.
No, go ahead. We'll continue on. Sure.
All right. A couple of things. Yep, this is being recorded. So again, this link will be shared out. But is having a math undergraduate degree a good option for getting into a data scientist role? I think, Joe, you kind of answered this with it being pretty statistical heavy or stats heavy. I think a math degree could definitely be of benefit for a data science position. Again, it kind of depends on the position as well, and the roles and responsibilities, as well as maybe some of those degree requirements. Let's see here. Environmental side. Could environmental side translate to other areas in the data analytics field? I'm assuming that means maybe you might have some experience of working in environmental science or experience working with the environment. Not sure about the details of that question, but absolutely, as far as being able to transfer for your skill sets or experiences or talk about transferable skills that could lead you into a data analytics position or break you into the field. We will definitely get into that more in series 2, but there are some unique opportunities to tie maybe some of your past work experience in another industry or another field and make it relatable to the data analytics field.
One of the things I may want to mention is don't worry about getting so many certificates that you just burn yourself out. If you're going for programming, stick with one program. If you go for Python, go Python. If you go for SQL, go SQL, and do it well. I think that when you do things, do it well. But for now, for a lot of you, your focus should probably be on building and getting used to GitHub, getting used to putting in projects and starting some low-level programs, just playing around with some program that you like. That's like Python is an easy one to get into. You can do R, that's a little bit more research based, but still very similar to Python. And just start putting in things that you get on YouTube. You'll find that it's going to get you in the right direction.
Yeah, another kind of degree related question. So we have a student here who's completing currently their master's degree, just wondering if having a graduate level degree could help them get into the field of data analytics. Yeah, I'd say, definitely yes. Again, it really does come down to the type of position you're looking to explore. And making sure if you are currently getting that master's degree is if there are courses or opportunities to apply what it is that you want to do and take some of those courses now, here and now, build up your skill set, level up your skills within a data analytics lens. That might be really helpful while you're currently in your course or currently in your degree program. Joe, any other insights on that?
Right. So one of the things I always say is it kind of takes three things, right? You either have on-the-job experience, you have a master's degree, or you have the certifications, and you have to have at least two of the three. So if you're making a switch from, I think there's a chef in here, working in red meat and butchering. Being able to transfer just with a master's may not be the only thing. You can still do it, but you may want to either get on-the-job experience. You want to have at least two of those. So if you're coming from data analytics and you get a master's, that tends to help you out. Usually when you're getting a master's, it's looking to go to the management level. So you're skipping a step right there. So you have to make up for that because the optics on you are going to say, well, you have a master's degree, but what else? What else is showing us that what certifications, what artifacts have you worked on, what programming languages, what work have you done to say that we can hire you?
Awesome.
And
yeah, kind of going in that, we've got another question, very similar lens of I've been working in the oil and gas industry for over 20 years, looking to kind of transition into data science. Would you recommend focusing on more like junior level roles just to get some of that experience? And this is a fabulous question. I'm so glad you brought it up because again, we are very much going to be tackling this specific question in series 2. But the reality is that there may have to be a decision you make in your professional career journey that you might have to take that entry level position or that step down, if you will, to get into the field of your choice. You might have X amount of years leadership roles within a different completely industry, which I think are still going to help you demonstrate to potential employers in the data science or data analytics field, you have the X amount of skills to lead, to manage. But to Joe's point, they want to be able to see the actual applications for a data analyst position. So do you have a portfolio that demonstrates all the projects that you've worked on related to the field? Do you have the skill sets? Do you have potentially courses, certifications that are more relevant to that particular position? So the reality is sometimes that does have to happen in order to kind of break into that field. You might have to take a lower position or a junior role or more entry level role. So that definitely is a big choice to consider as a professional breaking into the industry. So it doesn't always have to be the case, but it might be just the reality, again, depending on the industry you're wanting to go in, depending on the job you're looking to apply for, it might have to be something that you do seriously consider. And we absolutely encourage you and let you know you do not have to make these career decisions alone. We have our dedicated career advising team that can help you strategically come up with a career goal planning or plan strategy. So we definitely encourage you to reach out to our team so that you can kind of work with someone one-on-one to really help you navigate some of these difficult questions. Yep. So yeah, along the lines of the same things. See some folks working in international relations, environmental politics, cybersecurity, things like that.
I will note this, and before we jump into the question, what you're seeing just from this segment of population is a vast majority of all over the place, right? People are coming from all over. Data analytics is ubiquitous. It is obviously a huge in healthcare and finance, but every company has to have at some point that kind of conversation of what are we doing with our data? And you'll see that it's many years ago. I was in the army. I was a medic, and the transferable skills you have as a medic is every single unit wants a medic. So if I wanted to go to, I was in the aviation, I could go to aviation. I want to go to infantry, I can go to infantry. Everybody wants a medic. It's one of those kind of positions that it may not be a huge department, but they still need it.
Absolutely. And yeah, so I've a question came up is, do companies want to hire a new data analyst that is in their 50s or older, right? So it's funny this question is brought up. We actually just had an employer information session with the National Security Agency, and several students brought up the question regarding their age, or if that had some sort of limitation on them being a qualified candidate. And the resounding answer from the employer was no. If you again can demonstrate that you have the expertise, the knowledge, those hard and soft skills we talked about, you can demonstrate in your portfolio that you have the capability to work on these projects. The age consideration is not something that employers and sharing with us as a university, as a career team, was not a factor in their job applications or their considering candidates. Again, it comes down to, can you perform the job and can you perform it well? And are you a right fit? Those kinds of things and those skill sets are more highly valued than considering somebody's age or not. So again, it's can you come to the table and demonstrate to employer via your application, your portfolio, and definitely in that interview, which we'll get into some interview tips in part 2 as well, is are you able to again demonstrate and convince those employers that you're the right fit for the position? So I hope that helps answer that question. So that also came directly from the horse's mouth, that one of our employer partners at the NCA said age was not a consideration. See a few. I'm just scrolling. I apologize for the delay. Just scrolling in case I see a lot of flurry of engagement and connection in the chat. I love to see that. So thank you all for continuing to respond and support one another. Question I see here as I'm scrolling: would Tableau certifications help my resume look better? Looking for more business intelligent analyst types of positions. So Joe, I'll turn that over to you as I keep scrolling here, because I know we're almost close to closing time.
No, it's all right. Actually, I think a couple of people did answer that. Tableau is great. We chose Power BI, right? The license for Tableau is quite high. So getting it's kind of like, do you want to do Linux or Microsoft, right? Well, Linux is free. So why would you, but if you can get a Tableau license, absolutely. There are companies that would definitely do it, but you could also get a Power BI license and you're still doing the same thing. They're related programs. So if the comparison to Microsoft Word or Google Docs, well, if you know one, you kind of know the other. If you know Azure, can you do AWS, right? Like there's some variations. As long as you have the capacity to know something, being able to transfer over. Most employers don't care if you know a bazillion languages. I mean, that comes with time. But if you're proficient in the ones that they are concerned with, that's what they're looking to do, because there's a lot of on-the-job training for some companies. With a lot of, like I said, with a lot of the outcoming of the last few years of graduates, a lot of them are super tech savvy, but they lack, and this is to people that are over the age of 50, they lack the durability, right? And the ability to connect with people and have that. So there's a pro and a con to each generation.
Awesome. And we're just shy of about 2 minutes, and I see there's still a few questions trickling in and see a lot of support happening in the chat. So thank you all so much for that. There are a few things we want to just highlight and mention before we close out. So we've got about 1 minute left. So I'm just going to pause on the Q&A. If we did not get to your question this time, again, please be sure to join us for part 2. And if you wouldn't mind taking a moment, we have the QR code here on the screen, but also just posted a survey in the chat box. So if you wouldn't mind just taking a moment to fill out that survey, give us your thoughts and feedback on part 1 of this series, that would be really, really beneficial. So once again, please be sure to join us for part 2 of the series that's taking place on Tuesday, September 24th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, where we're going to do a deeper dive into data analytics career searching tools. We'll talk how to break into the field and gaining experience or transitioning into the field. We're also going to talk about resume tips and advice, as well as interviewing tips and preparation. So a lot to cover in part 2. So we really hope to see you there. And as a reminder, if you need career assistance right now, please contact our career advising team. You can email us anytime, cocecareer@snhu.edu, or feel free to give us a call. You can also, of course, check out our website, career360.snhu.edu. And so with that, we are officially at time. Joe, thank you so much for all of your insight and joining me for the part 1 of this series this evening. And thank you to all of you for being here. We really, really appreciate all of your time and engagement in the chat. This was absolutely wonderful to see you all continue to share, network, and support one another. And again, we will be sure to email this recording as well as all of the resources that were shared and discussed. We'll make sure that that gets included in the email send. So keep an eye out on that. We usually send that email in 1 to 2 business days after the webinar. So with that, thank you all so much. I hope you all enjoy your long weekend, long Labor Day weekend. It was an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you this evening. And Joe, I'll turn it over to you for any final thoughts and goodbyes.
Well, Alyssa, there was a good question. They are not automatically registered for the next if they've registered for this, correct? So
Correct.
register. Please fill out those forms just like you would in a class. I read those forms and I go through them. But it is great, valuable feedback. I mean, even in the chat, you guys have really put in some great information here. You're paying it forward for yourself and future students, right? But I wish you all the best of luck. You guys you're on the right track. Attending this meeting is a huge plus for you. It shows initiative, and you're going to need that because when you come into those interviews, if you sit back and just wait for the jobs, they're not going to find you.
Absolutely.
So that's it.
Yep,
thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Thank you all again. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of the evening. Take care, everybody.
Take care
Bye,
now.
Joe.